Hi everybody, this is Vanquished Angel here, and I got a request to help somebody do a .desktop file. Now what that is it's usually these type of launchers here that you see. Now not all the files on my desktop are, and I'm going to throw this one away, not all the files on my desktop are launchers. This one's actually just a regular text file. And so I got an example of two here. One is one that I made. The other one is one that is automatically made by another program. In this case, it would be Play on Linux. So this top one here is one that I made, and I kind of copied and pasted a template. Excuse me. So I will walk through and give you an example of kind of how to do this. So you're going to want to enter this part at the top here, and you can enter a version number. And you can do this for any application. There, and you're going to go type. So if it's an application, you're going to put application here. Sorry, my throat's still bothering me from the popcorn I ate a lot of. So in this case, we're going to use DroidCam is to launch an application. So we're going to put that in there. And then this is the terminal. So basically, this is whether to open a terminal with it or not, essentially. And you can put false or true. You might be able to put other commands in some of these. I don't know them all by heart. But this is with terminal or not. And then the name. And you'll notice this is the name of the program. So this is DroidCam, and you'll notice that it's the same down here. That's how the name will appear on your desktop. Execute. This is what you're executing. So this is almost as if you're opening it up in a terminal. And you can actually use terminal commands in here. Not all of them work exactly as you would expect, but essentially you can put the terminal commands in here. So this one is saying open the DroidCam application that I have installed. So that's what that is. Now you can put some other extending commands in here and do other things. So DroidCam is an application to use your cell phone as a webcam. Okay, and you install it on your smartphone, but you have an application that you install too, and I have another video on that. Also, if you were interested in doing that, that covers how to make this as well, just by copying it, and I provided this to copy in that video. But this says is equivalent to if I were to run that program in the terminal. So if I were to open this and type in DroidCam, that program opens up. Okay? So then this and here, this two and symbols says run DroidCam and this ADB is Android Debug Bridge. So, and start server. So essentially that is, start the Android Debugging Bridge program. Then also Android Debug Devices look in output for a connected device. So that's telling it run the Android Debug Devices. So my phone is plugged in through USB, and it's saying look for devices plugged in and connected to Android debugging, and forward the port that it's connected to the computer, and through Android debugging basically connects it as a webcam. So this program, which is installed, launches that, and then it tells it to check through Android debugging essentially ports and see if there's a cell phone connected or an Android device connected, and then it ports over its webcam. That's kind of a whole lot of explaining, but essentially you can do that. And then this is the comment. Now some desktops or front ends desktop programs will have a little window that appears when you put your cursor over it. This comment is what will appear, or on a menu item sometimes. This is what will appear. Now this is the icon to it. So this, on my system at least, defaults to a certain folder. So this is that. So as an example here, I already have that folder open. It is usually the user .local share icons. So you'll notice that this one appears right there. Okay? Just without the .png, but the other spelling has to be exactly the same. Okay? So, and so you just put that spelling there. Now, on some desktop operating systems, you can actually categorize where else this will appear. So this would be your menu system in like GNOME. Now I just copied it over. Mine's not GNOME, it's LXQT. And so this doesn't apply to me, but if I had GNOME installed, or GNOME, however you pronounce it, it would appear in the menu folders there. So like it might appear like in here, but it's not appearing because I don't have that. And then this is, it has to do with other things. You don't really need this. You can put it in though, if you wish. Notice this one's different. Okay, so then on the next one, so that's the one I created. On the next one, we have a little bit different options. There's a whole ton of options you can enter into a .desktop file. Some are needed in every one, and obviously some are not. So this one here is for my Fate icon. This one was created automatically by Play on Linux. So we notice we have the same one here, but we don't have a version. We don't necessarily need that. And then this one has an encoding, so you can have a specific encoding specified. Notice this one doesn't have that. And it goes in a little bit different order also. So this one we have the comment and Play on Linux. So if I were to hover my mouse in a different desktop, other than like LXQT, perhaps possibly Cinnamon maybe has it or something, if I were to put my mouse over that, it would say Play on Linux above it. And then the next one is the type, which is it's an application. And then of course the executable, or what to execute, essentially, in as if you were typing this in a command line. So if I were to open up a terminal here and copy and paste this in, it would run that program. Okay? So let's try that. Paste. And see how my game started. But we're going to quit. And so, I don't know why two folders are open there, but that's okay. So that's the command that you're going to execute, essentially. And then the icon. So similar to like where I showed you where this icon was in the default folder, this one has a different folder, so you can actually specify that. So this one says Home Sean, or I could probably cut that out and just type in .play on Linux, icons. I don't know why it's spelled that way, maybe because it might be French, because Play on Linux is from France. And then a full size, and then face. So that's that icon right there. That's the path to that icon and its name. And then the name, and then I believe this is French, so this one might be Italian. This is French, because it's made in France. And then Fate. And of course, this is something, the executable file that will be running in Wine. And then, of course, you can put in categories. So I could probably specify that to go in my games folder, or my games, and it would appear in this menu system. If I had the right desktop for it, I don't use that because I just prefer to open up Play on Linux and do it that way. So now we're going to create a launcher here for Firefox. And so what I'll usually do, because I'm lazy, instead of keying it all in, is I will use a template. So just copy and paste one of your others that are possibly out there you have on your desktop, or I will put a blanked out one too in the description. And so we don't need a version number because that's really not important unless you want one. And we're going to say it's an application, terminal. For this, we're going to change this to true. So this will open a terminal with it. And then the name. We are going to change this up a bit. We're going to go Firefox so you can kind of see the difference, right? And of course, we're not going to execute all of this. We're going to just maybe execute Firefox. Now it has to be the terminal command there. And I'm going to put a little space after there because I'm going to kind of show you something cool with that. And then comment. We're just going to put web browser. Okay? And then the icon. Now this is going to be different. Now I moved my icon to the correct folder already that I'm going to use, which is definitely not a Firefox icon. But you could download one online, and perhaps we should do that, huh? Like Internet and Firefox. So we're going to wait for Firefox to open here. And we're just going to type in Firefox icon, right? And then there are several. You can choose any one you want to be super cool if you'd like. I'm gonna click on that one. You know, and then we have lots of these to choose from, and I'm just gonna click save image as, and then it's gonna go to my downloads folder. So we're gonna save that. Okay. So then I'm gonna close Firefox here. Now we're going to have to get that icon going, and I think I have that open in one folder already, but you know what, we're just going to close group because that's annoying. So we're going to open this up, and it's going to be in my downloads right here. Now we're going to have to move it, so I'm just going to open another tab, and I'm going to go back to here, and then I'm going to have to view the hidden files. You're going to have to find a way to do that in your own. Whatever, if you're using LXQT, then this is how you do it. But in other ones, you're going to have to find a different way, or you can just actually find a way to find your folder. And this is going to be in the icons, and I'm going to move that to trash. So then I'm going to have to move this from my downloads folder to that icons folder here. I'm just going to select move. Now, I cheat. I'm going to use rename, because it'll highlight everything but after that ... and I'm going to copy that. Okay? So the icon then is going to be here. And it's going to have to be that exact name. And of course I already explained what that's about. And then this name IT. I'm not going to worry about that. Maybe Firefox. Okay. We'll worry about it. And then I'm going to click save, and it takes me to the save as, but you could click save as. And what you have to save it as is Firefox, like if it's, you save it as the application name, and then .desktop. Okay? And then that has to go in your desktop folder. So you know how this is a bunch of other folders. You're going to have to find this out where this is located for your specific desktop interface. Some might be different, but mine is just the desktop folder, and save it just like that and click save. So this is automatically saved to that folder, And we're just going to close this one, and it appears right there. So now I'm going to double click that, and notice the terminal opened and Firefox opened. Okay, and it takes a while to load for some reason, and that's okay. I default to Ecosia, my search engine, to be green and help the earth live, and they plant trees every time you use it to search, so you should be using that one all the time. But to show you a really cool example here of the control that this kind of gives you too. So let's say I wanted to set an icon launcher to open up to a specific web page each and every time. Let's say I wanted to open it up to this specific web page in Play on Linux, right? So I'm going to copy this. And then this is editable. So you can right click, open with leafpad. And I can just simply put that in right here. Okay? And then click File, Save. So that's just kind of a cool little feature. Now I'm going to close this. And the terminal is going to close out because because that's there. And I don't want the terminal to open this time. So I'm going to change that to false. And then I'm also going to click Save. And then we're going to close that. Now I'm going to right click or double click. And notice the terminal didn't pop open, but the browser did. And now, even though the default page is Ecosia, this should switch over to Play on Linux. And it opens right there. So I didn't have to change the default open page to anything. So I could keep Google or Ecosia there for when I normally open my browser. But if I wanted that quick shortcut to my specific pages to start with, that'll automatically open that way. So those are just a brief tutorial on how to do a lot of that stuff. Hopefully I answered your question. For some things you'll have to research because I don't know your exact one, or I've never really used it, so I don't know how to do it. But there you go. Hopefully I answered your question. If you like my tips and tricks, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. I appreciate you all watching this, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.